A plain white van viewed from the windowless back. Hussein and the defendant are looking in the open side doors.
Yes, that is me and the defendant inspecting the bomb.
What was the smell like in the van?
It was, like gas or like, or diesel or like, I don't know.
Did the defendant shy away at this?
No. He said he liked the smell.
What happened next?
We went back to the hotel. We still had a lot of time, so we got pizza.
Let's play the tape of the van ride to Pioneer Square.
Tell me some poetry. Tell me something beautiful. Allah's apostle said, keeping horses will be a source of reward to one who ties it by a long rope in a pasture or garden. If that horse breaks its rope and crosses one or two hills, then all its footsteps will be counted as good deeds for its owner. And if it passes by a river and drinks from it, then that will also be regarded as a good deed for its owner, even if he has had no intention of watering it then. I love your words. Soon the blood of the infidels will flow like water in a river. Horses are a shelter from poverty to the second man who keeps horses for earning his living, so as not to ask others. And at the same time, he gives Allah's right and does not overburden them. He who keeps horses just out of pride and as a means of harming the Muslims, his horses will be a source of sin. Beautiful, beautiful. Death to those who harm innocent Muslims. Death to America. That's like one of my favorite hadiths. I'm going to keep my horse on a long rope in a beautiful garden. And if my horse breaks loose and crosses one... Smell that diesel? I love that diesel smell. Don't you just love that sour diesel smell? Hey, your hat doesn't fit me. Is my head bigger than yours? How can that be? You're a big man and... Take it easy, take it easy. One step at a time. Hey, I think that car is leaving. Oh, really? Which one? Oh, yeah. It's a miracle. I can't believe we got a space. Isn't that one of the ones that Yusuf... Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Inshallah! Hand me that duct tape. Oops, sorry. Now, clip this on here. Here? Can you do it? Can you do it?
The tape ends with a long still of the van.
The FBI held that parking space?
Yes.
The defendant picked out the space?
Yes.
What was he doing in the back of the van?
He was arming the bomb.
And what happened next?
We walked to the bike factory and were picked up by Yusuf. We dropped him off at the train station, then we drove to the arrest site.
And then?
I told him the number and he dialed it. The signal was for us to get out of the car, and when we did, we were both arrested.
Let's listen to that audio.
Here we go. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Now dial 503 508. No. 503 503 823 823 4151 4151. Is it ringing? How is the signal? Inshallah. It's good. Step out and dial it again.
Dial it again was the arrest signal?
Yeah, I got cuffed.
Did the defendant show any hesitation?
No.
What would you have done if he wanted out?
I would have drove him straight home.
No more questions.
You're a witness, Ms. Monet.
The FBI orchestrated the entire operation that day,
Yeah.
including having him do something with a wire.
Yeah.
And that wire had no operational value.
We wanted it to be real for him, to give him a chance to stop. He never hesitated.
The team of FBI agents were nowhere near Pioneer Square.
True.
The plan was to drive him around for 15 minutes to a prearranged arrest site.
Yeah.
The recording tapes kept running after the takedown.
Yeah.
You kept yelling, Allahu Akbar, and your FBI colleagues started to laugh.
Yeah.
You whispered that you were going to scream.
Yeah.
You were trying to provoke a similar reaction from the defendant.
I was enrolled.
You wanted him to look defiant.
I don't know about that.
Someone said, he spit on people, and you said, oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Another FBI agent said, good, he looked defiant.
Yeah.
It looks good that he looked defiant.
Yeah.
An FBI agent then asks you again if your recorder is off.
Yeah.
And you said, yes, I turned it off.
Yeah.
Another agent asks, are you positive?
Yeah.
And you answered, yes, I'm positive.
Yeah.
Then you say, oh no, it is still on.
Yeah.
You didn't want it known that the defendant was following your lead and acting defiant.
I was relieved he was arrested.
No more questions.
With both undercover agents excused, the public and press are allowed back in the courtroom.
The government calls FBI agent Delta Chin to the stand. What was your role in the undercover operation?
In June 2010, Agent Trustus called asking for my help. He'd seen a presentation I'd give.
You were the contact agent for Hussein?
Yes, I was the liaison between him and the office. I would get him funds, equipment, and ensure the confidentiality of the agent.
And you worked on emails to the defendant?
Yes, it was a collaborative effort. Trustus would write a draft, and I would make suggestions.
Were you present at the undercover meetings?
Yes.
What happened at the July 30th meeting?
I was in the lobby of the embassy suites during the meeting, about 20 feet away. I heard the whole thing via the transmitter Yusuf was wearing. I took notes, and afterwards did a debrief with Yusuf. I used his thoughts to complete my notes, and then wrote an EC, electronic communication.
What did they talk about?
They were making a lot of small talk, and then Yusuf asked him what he was doing to be a good Muslim. The defendant responded with his writings for jihad recollections. Then Yusuf asked if he could travel overseas. The defendant said no. Yusuf said, then what do you want to do? And the defendant said that he wanted to make war on America and that he would do anything for the cause. Yusuf gave him 5 options, and the defendant chose number 4, operational. He said that he heard of brothers who put explosives in a van and parked it somewhere. I was so sad that he chose operational.
What did you do with your notes?
After I wrote the electronic communication, I discarded my notes in a confidential trash bin. I took everything in my notes and put them in my electronic communication.
Did you know that the recording device failed?
I first learned that a few days later from Trustus. As soon as I found out, I ran to the confidential trash bin, but the notes were already gone.
I have no more questions, Your Honor.
Cross, Ms. Monet?
The FBI first contacted the defendant in the fall of 2009, a few months after he turned 18.
Yes.
And you learned from internal FBI memos that he was a confused kid,
Yes.
that he was interested in the party life,
Yes.
drinking and using marijuana daily.
Yes.
Before the June 2010 meeting, you tried to lure the defendant with 2 other schemes, and these failed.
Yes.
He didn't take the bait.
Yes. You're right.
On June 7th, 2010, you received an email from Trestis telling you that he got the green light to target the kid again.
Yes.
You also received a psychological profile of the defendant.
Yes.
So you learned that he needed respect,
Yes.
was shy around authority figures,
Yes.
and you chose the undercover agents based on this information.
Yes.
Why did the recorder fail on that first face-to-face meeting on July 30th?
I'm not an electronics expert.
July 30th was a Friday.
Yes.
August 2nd was Monday, and your report was finalized on Tuesday, August 3rd.
That's right. I conducted the debrief on the 30th, started my report on the 2nd, and finished on the 3rd.
According to FBI documents, by 9 a.m. on the 2nd, it was known that the recorder had failed.
No one told me, so I destroyed my notes on the 3rd.
You destroyed evidence. Let's go over your emails before that first face-to-face.
Sure.
On June 23rd, you wrote and told the defendant to get a hush mail account.
Yes.
He responds the same day and got the hush mail account.
Yes.
You write back and ask if he can still help the brothers.
Yes.
He doesn't respond right away to this.
Yes.
When he responds, he writes that he's busy and that he will contact you when it is a better time.
Yes.
You didn't take that as a no.
That's all right.
Then you invoke Allah as a reason for the defendant to help the brothers.
It was language he was comfortable with.
You write that you would be in Portland and wanted to meet him.
Yes.
And he doesn't respond at all.
Yes.
A week later, you send him a prodding email, and it's still a week before he responds.
Yes.
And he's not interested in a covert meeting. He wants to meet at his mosque and pray.
It's against FBI policy to go into a mosque.
In earlier testimony, we heard that the Hushmail account made the defendant sophisticated in spycraft. Yet, this was actually your idea.
Yes, Hushmail is encrypted.
In the FBI crafted email, you refer to eyes and ears everywhere.
Yes.
The FBI agents are being secretive.
Yes.
The FBI suggests a private location.
Yes.
The defendant thinks you ought to be praying.
Yes.
He was just following your lead and thinking about security.
Yes.
And this was presented in court as evidence of the defendant being radicalized. At that first face-to-face meeting, when the recorder failed, you were in the hotel lobby.
Yes.
In your report, it says that on the 10-minute walk from Borders to the hotel, Yusuf and the defendant just made small talk.
Yes.
Now, Yusuf remembers that he told the defendant that there were 5 to 7 candidates and that he would be assessed. That didn't make it into your report.
I included what I thought was important.
And small talk is important? During the operation, Yusuf often says that it has to come from you, and he didn't always mean it.
I can't know what Yusuf meant.
Yusuf gave 5 options, and the defendant chose operational.
Yes.
Then the defendant said that he didn't know what operational meant.
Yes.
And that didn't make it into your report.
Yes, you're right.
Yusuf was the one to suggest the bomb expert
Yes.
and told the defendant to pick a target in Portland.
Yes.
Did